It was written as a serial for the New York Times Sunday magazine. They'd been running a series of serials with mostly crime writers. And Michael Connelly had done one, and Patricia Cornwell and various others. And then they asked me. I thought it was a mistake at first, but they said, no, we would like you to do something. And they suggested a spy story, but I couldn't come up with any ideas. And then I thought, well, I want to try and keep the Edinburgh thing. I would love to get to write about Scotland in such a prestigious American magazine. So I came up with a heist. And I said to them, it's very much Ocean's 11, but set in Edinburgh. And they seemed to like that idea. Since I started making some money, I've been buying art, because I've always loved art, but could never afford any. And I go to a lot of sales, auctions, exhibitions. And I just thought I'd love to write something set in the art world. And so my main character is an art collector. And with a bunch of other amateur would-be villains, they decide that they're going to steal art. Not for profit, but because they're very frustrated by the way that most art in public collections is never displayed. It's kept in warehouses. And there is this one big warehouse in Edinburgh where all the spare stock is kept for the Scottish National Galleries. And it's full of thousands of works of art that the public never get to see, except one day a year, which is called Doors Open Day, when lots of buildings in Scotland that are usually closed to the public are opened up. And I thought, well, if you're going to try and rip off a place like that, the best time to do it would be Doors Open Day, hence the title. I mean, the character of Mike, who I guess is the main character, there's more of me in him than there is of me in Rebus, probably. It's quite a light-hearted story. At least it starts off quite light-heartedly. You think you're in Ealing comedy territory with these sort of shambling amateur, villains who've decided they're going to steal stuff. But it darkens considerably as the story continues, and Mike's life starts to crumble. His personal life starts to crumble. But he's a self-made guy. He got lucky with some computer software and sold his software company for a fortune, and is now sitting there with an awful lot of money but nothing to do, and so is itching for a little bit of action, I think. Now, whether you say that represents me or not, I'm not so sure, but his taste in paintings is certainly mine, and I like him. I like him as a character. I'm a huge fan of heist movies. Heist books are very difficult. I don't know why they're difficult to pull off, but a successful heist book is quite difficult. But the movies always seem to do well, whether it's The Italian Job or even the remake of The Italian Job I quite enjoyed. You've got Ocean's 11, of course, that's become a franchise and was fantastic, especially the first one. Was a terrific film. But also one of my favourite British films of all time happens to be a heist movie. It's just nobody thinks of it as a heist movie. It's That Sinking Feeling, which was the first film to come from the team who brought us Gregory's Girl. And it had the same actors. They were sort of junior actors from a theatre company in Glasgow, very much just people in their early to mid-teens who hadn't had any professional experience, and a young, very smart, witty director at the helm. And what we got was a fantastic heist novel about young kids in Glasgow trying to rip off a warehouse full of kitchen sinks, which is hence That Sinking Feeling. And I mean, it's, it's slightly unprofessionally made. It's rough around the edges, it's raw, but I think it's a fantastic film. I would probably steal, it's called A Woman Cooking Eggs, and I forget who it's by, Caravaggio, Velasquez, I think it's Velasquez. And it's basically a woman cooking eggs with a little boy watching her, probably getting instructions from her. I just love the shade, I love the light and dark. It's beautifully composed painting, and as the main character in my story finds, there are some things that no matter how rich you are, you can never have. And that's something I can never have. But of course, because it's in a public collection, I am free to go and see it anytime I like.